I feel so lost about who I want to be. And this is a post that I got a notification about. So let's take a little bit of time to think about this because I think this is generally a good thing for young people around the early 20s to consider. Okay. So the basic premise of the post is that I'm a 22-year-old woman and I feel really down. Like, I'm not that good. I'm not that great looking. I'm not that crazy smart. I'm not that athletic and fit. So basically, uh, feeling really average and really kind of like mid, right? But the thing is, these days, mid doesn't really feel like mid. Mid actually feels like suck. Why? Because with the, raging content machine that's fed into our lives daily. We constantly have new people who are better than us to compare ourselves to, right? So when it comes to athletics, we compare ourselves with Simone Biles. When it comes to intelligence, we compare ourselves with Neil deGrasse Tyson. When it comes to, like aesthetics and being beautiful, I compare myself to, I don't know, Selena Gomez. So when we look at all these people and all these targets who are so much more advanced and better than us, of course the opposite is true, right? There are people who are way shorter than me. There are people who are way, sounds bad, but like balder than me. There are people who are way, worse in terms of eyesight. There are people who are way, again, sounds horrible, but way dumber than me, and so on. But we don't spend a lot of time thinking about that because that feels like it's for free, it's for granted. But it's, if you really think about it, it's not, right? So the comparing ourselves always makes us feel like we're at we're behind or at a loss, when in reality we're most of the times we're mid, and mid is like pretty good. But again, because of how life usually goes on these days, it just doesn't feel like that at all. Okay, so that's sort of the first point. But the second point I wanted to make was, yeah, I want to be pretty confident, fit, and really knowledgeable. Okay, good, right? If I want to be pretty, I can invest in my beauty, right? If I want to be confident, I can invest in my personality, right? I can work with a coach, I can work with a therapist, I can, go do a lot of mind work to get myself confident. If I want to be fit, I can go to the gym and I can start doing lifting and working on my diet. I want to be knowledgeable, then I can go to community college to take some more classes after out working hours and such. So there are all these things we can do. But in real life, it's unlikely that we are going to be doing anything about it, right? Why? Let's think about that. We want to be this really knowledgeable, really fit, really confident, really pretty, right? But the thing is, these things usually are not for free. These things actually come after a not just a, moment or two. It comes with a lot of investment in terms of time, right? So, how did I become really knowledgeable about life coaching? Well, I spent a lot of time and I spent a lot of effort coaching people and learning about things, right? How did I become so good at, writing code? Well, I was a software engineer for like 10 plus years, right? So, just like this, a lot of things take time. Why is this important for us? This means as we are devoting ourselves to a certain topic, we will be spending enough time for us to doubt ourselves, right? Because anybody can do anything for 5 minutes. It doesn't really require a big commit. But doing something for a prolonged amount of time will inevitably have you meet your limit. So, is it worth pushing my limit for this? Am I really, like, I'm not seeing results right now, but even at this lack of results, do I keep pushing myself or should I just stop? Should I just cut my losses? It is very unlikely that when you are in this kind of a state of mind, you can break through that barrier of doubt. Why? Because your view of yourself, when you look at yourself, you don't see a qualified person. You don't see a confident person. You don't see a committed person. So, every time you're doing something, when somebody else does something else, that will feel more attractive. Why? Because that person probably knows more than me. That person probably is better than than me. So you're always going to follow the current of what other people think, what other people treat as more important. Why? Because you don't believe in yourself to make the right decisions for yourself. And so we feel lost about who we want to be because we just don't have that deep trust relationship with ourselves. We don't see ourselves as qualified. We don't see ourselves as having that potential. Sometimes we may think that we have the potential, right? But deep down, we know that we're flaky. Deep down, we know that we suck at keeping commitments. We know that we are just plain not good. Like deep down, we really believe that mom and dad are right. I am a big disappointment. And that kind of self relationship is actually what needs to be examined the most in these types of scenarios. So I'll link to the comment that I made on this post. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them down in the comments as well.